right, good evening, folks. Thank you so much for coming this evening. Welcome to the January 20th, 2015 fiscal year 2016 budget public hearing for the Prince George's County Board of Education. Let's start by Ms. Wilson calling the roll for us, please.
Absolutely. Dr. Anderson.
Present.
Mr. Burrows. Ms. Epps. Ms. Eubanks.
Here.
Ms. Grady.
Present.
Ms. Hernandez.
Present.
Ms. Jacobs. Dr. Kaufman.
Here.
Ms. Mundy. Mr. Valentine. Ms. Williams. Mr. Taylor. Ms. Boston.
Present.
Dr. Eubanks.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wilson. Friends and citizens, as you know, we're here this evening for the sole purpose of receiving public commentary on the fiscal year 2016 budget. The CEO's proposed FY 2016 operating budget is a recommendation of $1.839 billion, which represents a 2.5% increase over the FY 2015 approved budget of $1.795 billion. In this process, as you know, openness, transparency, and inclusiveness are central to the work that we do. Our budget cannot begin the work of creating, our district cannot create the work of really creating a sustainable budget that works for our parents, for our community, and most significantly for our students without including you in the process of development. Hearing from the public, after all, it is your tax dollars that support the work that we do every day, is essential to us creating an operating budget. Your opinions, your insights, your recommendations, your expertise are needed and will be heard. We have several work sessions and public hearings today, obviously, and then the next ones on January 27th and February 10th, both at 7 p.m. here at Sasser. And the Board of Education is scheduled to adopt our budget on February 24th, 2014, at a board meeting that will begin at 7:05. That recommended budget will then be forwarded to County Executive Mr. Rashawn Baker, who will develop his proposed county budget and present it to the County Council in March 2015. The County Council must adopt a budget which includes the school system funding designated by category that then goes to the state legislature in April 2015. The Board of Education will then reconcile with the county-approved budget, and it will be adopted at a regularly scheduled board meeting in June 2015. So we're now ready to hear from you. Just a quick note before we do, you've been registered to speak in a public comment forum where the Board of Education will listen to your comments but cannot directly address your comments. All registered speakers will have 3 minutes to make their presentation. At the sound of the buzzer, please complete that final sentence only. No speaker may relinquish any part of his or her speaking time to any other registered or unregistered speakers. And we ask that you kind of don't address folks individually, but in more generic terms. And we ask, most important, that if you do have a written copy of your commentary, to please do submit it. And if you're one who wants to give his or her opinion but doesn't want to step up to the mic, please feel free to do so. All of your public comments can be emailed to us at testimony@pgcps.org. We welcome that and look forward to it. So we begin today with our first speaker, Dr. Tahani Colazo.
Good evening. I'm here this evening as a resident of Prince George's County and also as a staff member at Casa de Maryland Through our partnership, we've participated in many conversations with community members, and I'm here tonight to address two important questions that we've heard in many of these conversations. The first, the ESOL student population, and I'm speaking on behalf of the international schools. The first question is the ESOL student population is much larger than the 800 students who will be served by the international schools. How will we meet all ESOL students' needs? So to be clear, these schools are not the only solution to improving the outcomes for ESOL students. They are an important part of the solution. We know that only a third of ESOL graduates go on to college in Prince George's County. By contrast, in New York City, 80% of internationals graduates enroll in college. So we're at 30% here. We're bringing a model that's graduating 80%. And the New York City students have similar economic and cultural backgrounds as our international students. We are implementing a proven model. The two international schools could be incubation sites for new ideas, for implementing proven practices across the county. So this could come in the form of joint professional development sessions, creating professional learning communities between teachers at the international schools and ESOL teachers across the county. And these are just two ways that the new schools could help improve education outcomes for all ESOL students. So another question I hear a lot is, how are these schools going to benefit kids in Prince George's County who are not ESOL students? Given that this is the majority of our county, a very, very important question. At the core, Carnegie, our funder, is investing in districts organizing schools in innovative ways to graduate kids and make sure their kids are prepared for college or career pathways. And we're talking about students who are often underserved by traditional school models. As part of the Carnegie Network, we participate in national meetings, and we participate with our Prince George's administrators who are part of our school design team. These district leaders oversee well over 100 schools within the district. And as they're participating in these national meetings, they're learning about different practices, different models, and they're not just thinking about the international schools, they're thinking about the hundreds of other schools and the teachers and school leaders who they work with. And so some of these ideas include innovative uses of technology to meet students' academic needs, mastery-based learning, positive youth development, personalized learning. So the international schools build on the work already happening in the county and will offer educators and district leadership further models to reach even more young people. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Collazo. Our next speaker is Mr. Robert Adams. Is Mr. Robert Adams with us this evening? Doesn't look like it. Let's go to Vicky Arevalo.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Vicky Arevalo. I go to Pardo High School. The community schools that Prince George's County Public Schools and CASA will open will be a great benefit to Prince George's County because it will help students that need greater support to be able to successfully graduate. When I started going to school in Prince George's around 5 years ago, I didn't understand the system, the class requirements or interactions at all. I was lost and confused. Being the new kid, I was out of place, and other kids started bullying me to the point that I didn't want to return to school because of fear. My parents would insist daily, and I would go to class but wouldn't be able to concentrate or understand. Sadly, I'm still struggling to understand many things. What I have personally seen is that there is a lack of interest for students like me to understand the school system and the requirements of graduation. As long as we graduate, for example, I was placed to take earth science because that supposedly fulfills the requirements for me to graduate. I told all students took this class to graduate until I hear from other classmates that there were more options. I would have loved to have taken another class according to my interests and skills. But there has been little time for someone in my school to explain the system to me. This wouldn't be an issue at the new international schools. These schools will have teachers that will understand students like me and take the time to engage me. These schools will take the time to engage my parents and get them to understand and get involved with my school. These schools will better help in integrating us in a complex school system, community, and culture. No student will be left to lack or chance to achieve graduation, but there will be a system and culture in place to interact and engage each student personally so that together as a community we can intentionally have a higher rate of students graduating in our community and for the honor of our county and state and nation. Together we will make this happen because I know that each one of you honorable members of the board will help us in making these community schools become a reality for fall of this year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, young lady. Our next speaker is Liliana Varga.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Liliana Vargas. I'm the Director of School Development for the Internationals Network for Public Schools. I've had the pleasure of meeting some of the board members here tonight and working with PGCPS district leaders and personnel, as well as CASA de Maryland, for the past few years on opening of schools to better serve Prince George's County English learners. We are grateful for your support, allowing us to take advantage of the opportunity that the Carnegie Opportunity by Design initiative has afforded us so that we can make these schools a reality. I want to thank the PGCPS Board of Education for their interest and support of this initiative. As many of you have seen in our schools in New York City or in Alexandria, international schools are not a cookie-cutter approach. Rather, they build on the strengths and successes of teachers and leaders of each individual school. As a result, the International's approach to instruction and design of a school has worked in a variety of contexts, including Oakland, San Francisco, Alexandria, Washington, D.C., and New York City. By collaborating with districts, communities, and schools, attendance, retention, credit accumulation, graduation, and college attendance rates for ESOL students are significantly higher than district and state rates. For example, International's New York City ESOL graduation rate is 27 percentage points higher than the city's ESOL grad rate and 28 percentage points higher than the state's ESOL grad rate. And that's the 4-year graduation rate. The 6-year graduation rate is even more. Here in Prince George's County, our participation in Carnegie's Opportunity by Design initiative situates Prince George's Public Schools as a leader in school innovation, along with other school districts around the country, including Denver, Cleveland, New York, Philadelphia, and Providence. The Carnegie Foundation has invested in our partnership and our partnership's capacity and potential for developing a portfolio of schools based on a set of successful school design principles that serve the interests and needs of a diverse community. Already, this grant has allowed members of PGCPS, CASA, and internationals to learn from successful practices at over a dozen schools all over the country and to apply that learning to designing and implementing innovative schools here. The capacity built at the district in the community will support stronger schools now and in the future here in Prince George's County Public Schools. We look forward to our ongoing work, expanding our community of practice here in Prince George's County so that we can continue to work together to best serve the needs of Prince George's County youth. We thank you for your continued support of this initiative.
Thank you. You can leave the comments for us. Thank you. All right, our next speaker is Tommy Makila, or Makila.
Good evening. My name is Tommy Makila. My son attends Akakik Academy. While you ponder the budget for the next year and will likely need to make some tough choices, I want you to keep in mind what Albert Einstein said related to learning and education. Imagination is more important than knowledge. With this in mind, I want you to make sure that we preserve the elements in our schools that give our children a well-rounded education. All forms of creative arts, physical education, foreign languages, and other specialty programs are key elements in helping our children grow to be successful, productive adults. Please preserve funding for these areas in the budget. Unfortunately, Maryland's budget outlook is not great, and the education sector will likely see some negative impacts as well. However, sometimes there is opportunity for positive change during tough economic times when it forces us to think outside the box. Some of you know that for the past couple of years, I've been coming to these types of public forums to ask that we reduce the number of standardized tests our children take. Now, even President Obama and the Secretary of Education have joined the chorus of critics, saying that the testing mania is out of control. So, now that pretty much everyone is seeing the light on this testing craze, it is time to take action to actually reduce the amount of testing we are currently doing. As it relates to the budget, all this testing is expensive to do. Thus, if we are able to reduce the number of tests our children take, we should also be able to achieve meaningful financial savings, leaving more money for other priorities. Reducing the amount of testing would also mean that teachers could dedicate more time to actual instruction. As you seek ways to reduce the number of tests we administer, I urge that teachers and principals are well represented in those discussions. I fully realize that some testing is needed, and some of the testing does provide useful information for teachers that can actually guide classroom instruction. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker this evening is Theus Garato.
Hi. I'm here to ask that you put radiation measurement consults in the budget. Dr. Maxwell wrote me last week stating that because of budget constraints, the county could not do microwave radiation readings at my daughter's school. At Greenbelt Elementary, I found the microwave levels to be especially high, especially in the cafeteria. Wi-Fi routers and iPads emit microwave radiation, as do cell towers. It's really important that you gather this exposure data, especially so you can get a before and an after, and if the cell towers go up, then you'll have those readings. If kids get sick, you'll know what the exposures were. Montgomery County is taking microwave radiation readings at their schools. Their air quality person brought a meter, like I have, and did at least 2 elementary schools already. The measurements in this room, for example, are in the 1,400, 800, 900. They vary depending on the pulses from the 2 routers, which are back there. And so I should add that who's ever closest to those receives the most radiation. It's less as you go out. It really drops drastically down. Plus, if you have a device in front of you, that emits radiation as well. And at the bottom of a cell tower, the microwaves reach peaks past the thousands, and that's why kids should not be near cell towers, nor should homes be near cell towers. I cannot imagine that it would cost but a couple $100 for an outside consult or to purchase a meter for your radiation person to have. If the school is FCC compliant, then please provide us parents with documentation by doing professional readings. And I think parents and staff should know the radiation levels in the building where they work. The United Teachers Federation now has a web page stating that pregnant women should reduce exposure to wireless radiation. They even have the 10 tips from Dr. Moskowitz. I'd also like to point out that the LA School District adopted a precautionary exposure threshold at 10,000 times less than the FCC levels we have. I asked Milestone if they were going to do radiation readings at our schools, and they have not sent me a date or a plan. A newspaper article, however, about Amherst School District, where Milestone is negotiating with now in Virginia, said that they will perform annual measurements of the radiation in and outside the school buildings there. And I'd like to know, why not Prince George's County if we can't afford it? Prince George's County can and should put kids' health and safety first when it comes to microwave radiation. No one in this room grew up with wireless radiation in our homes or our schools. Levels are thousands of times higher than what we grew up with. A 21st century school should have safe, hardwired connections and no cell towers. However, if you're going to put those devices in and a cell tower on the campus, then please budget in radiation measurements to ensure safety and compliance. Legal does not mean safe. It never has. And if you look at the, is that my minutes are up? Oh, okay. I just want to say, if you look at the laws that are in place that are ethical and provide safety, people fought hard for those, and they didn't just happen. So we're now fighting for those laws. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our speakers list for this evening. As I said, we will be back here next week, right? The 27th is a week from now. We'll be back here a week from today. Please come back and speak to us again, or tell your friends and neighbors and colleagues to come back and speak to us. We were so happy to get the 5 folks who are here today, and we'll be ready to speak to another, listen to another 10, 15, 20 or more next week and the week after. Thank you very much. Yeah, but we're going to come back next week. So give. We'll take you. You folks want to listen real quick? We'll put you on the clock. We usually we tend to require folks to come in advance and check in to speak to us. But you are on the mic. We're all sitting here. We're going to give you your 3 minutes. Right. Please tell us who you are and introduce yourself. You turn that mic. Can you turn the mic on for her?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm Alenia Walker. My children go to Samuel Chase Elementary School in District 8. I'm coming back. I was here on October the 14th to speak about the community development, and I wanted to get an idea as to an update as to the status of my children's school. They're in first grade there. Samuel Chase is 84% African American and 71.5% reduced or free lunch. The PTA is moving and doing. They don't have money for just to go on basic field trips. They've not had one this year, and they're preparing to do one before the school is up. The school was slated along with other schools back in 2009 with 9 other schools to be reconstructed from the bottom up, and the other 8 schools were done. And I was told that Samuel Chase is no longer being done. And I've written letters to constituent services, to Mr. Burroughs. I spoke and I sent an email and gave the information as well to Mr. Maxwell's assistant the last time, and I've been emailing since then. I've been speaking to planning and board, and I've not heard a response. That is, I haven't heard anything since since August. But now the new budget is out. Samuel Chase is nowhere in there whatsoever. It's a pretty good performing school. And I just want to know what is going on. We've got 2 swings on the playground for a whole school of elementary school students. That's not fair to them. There's broken concrete in the playground area for where they play basketball. The hoops are too high for the elementary age. The middle school and high school students and the neighborhood people play at the playground. But the school performs very well in testing. My son and daughter are going up for tag, all of that. But the school I don't understand why, if it's been slated for not being rebuilt and the playground got funding, and each time they're in, they get kicked out. And if the other 8 schools have gotten done, what about Samuel Chase? Computer, they need computers, they need a lot of things. If the school is not going to be redone to substantiate the good performing students there overall, and then why they continue to, I was told initially when they were going there from, was it planning, that they were going to be shipping the school students off to another school while they rebuilt it. But that's not done. They redid the roof instead. The rest of the things haven't been done. They did some painting and changed some sockets in the walls. But my children I've tried to request that they go out from the school. They said no, the other schools around that got redone are overbooked. So I'm forced to allow my children to go there. And I'd like to get an answer as to why.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And folks, thank you again. Again, just a quick reminder, we're going to be open to any and all comers. Please do remember just to register with us. You just need to do it 2 hours in advance by calling the office or sending us an email, but we're very glad you got a chance to come up and speak and say your piece. And please submit your written testimony, too, if you have it, so we'll make sure that we have it so we can respond if you could submit it. All right, we are officially adjourned, but I don't want the young people to go away before I get a chance to shake a few hands. Don't go nowhere.